Right, hi everyone. Welcome to today's lesson, maths lesson. It's, what time is it now? It is 9 minutes to 10, so we're going to wait till 10 o'clock to get started. Okay. We're going to mention it a little bit when we get on, but just to let you know, we do have a couple of teachers in the chat today. Okay, and there will be from now on. So be careful what you put in there. Just saying from yesterday, teachers are watching, always watching. Okay, so we're going to get started in, let's have a look. We're going to get started in 9 minutes or so. So today's lesson, you need some paper, you need a pen, don't need any worksheets or anything like that. So you have paper, pen or a pencil and rubber, and we will get started soon. Okay. Right, hi everyone, welcome to the second live lesson of the week, and today we're going to be looking at maths. Again, same as yesterday, what I'm doing is I'm going to go over how these maths lessons are going to work first, a little bit more in detail than probably in other lessons, just so you know exactly what's going to happen, and then we'll get started, okay? First thing I want to mention, I do realise yesterday, and a few people mentioned it to me, so thank you for those who did mention it. There were people being a little bit silly in the chat yesterday, say spamming it and things like that. The chat there, guys, is for you to catch up, for you to give me answers, okay, for you to talk about the work, for you to keep in contact with friends and things like that you're not with anymore, okay? And if people are going to spoil that by putting things in that they shouldn't, that's not really what we're wanting. So, because of that, we've got a few teachers that are in the chat there now, and the teachers in the chat, if they can see that you're messing about and you're spoiling for other people, they can put you in a timeout, which means you're not able to chat for, I think, 300 seconds. So you can still watch the video, everything like that. That's absolutely fine. But it'll put you in for 300 seconds. So you can see that as a sort of a warning. They can delete messages if you're putting silly messages on. So if you see your message getting deleted, you can think, maybe I shouldn't have put that on. Okay. And then lastly, what they can do is they can stop you being able to put anything in the chat or comments at all. Obviously, you'll still be able to watch, so you can still do your work. But we don't want to spoil it for the people who are really getting on, okay? So we've got Mrs. Wright, Mrs. Carthy, Miss Cook's in there as well at the minute. Teacher, some of you might not know, but she's watching. And also Miss Allison might be coming through later. Okay, and that's always going to happen in the videos from now on, just to make sure everyone's getting everything that they need. Okay, so on Monday, we're going to look at a different maths topic. Tuesday, we're going to look at a different maths topic every week. And then the work in that lesson, like I mentioned yesterday, in the description there's a link to the Padlet that has the worksheet. You don't need any for the lesson, but there will be a week's worth of work linked to that lesson. Okay, so there'll be a worksheet that you can use today. There is one from yesterday, so you can go back and you can do that as well. And there's some for the next couple of days as well, some tasks and things there that links to the lesson. The lesson, obviously, as well, does stay up online, so people can watch it afterwards. I need to say thank you first to all of you for coming and joining in and really helping out your parents with their homeschooling so they can get on with other things, with their work and things that they have to do. Thank you for all the hard work that you did yesterday. I was absolutely blown away by 1,500 people watching the lesson yesterday. Okay, maybe not live, but live and afterwards. Absolutely amazing. Okay, if you know anyone who could benefit from the lesson, obviously let them know, because we have a lot more than just my children from my class, and I can see that now because I've seen in the chat, and we've got lots of people mentioning from different schools and things, and we've got 128 people in there now, which is more or less in my class. So welcome along if you're not normally in my class. Great to have you there. Hope you enjoyed the lesson today. The lesson, like I said, will stay up afterwards. So if you're doing work tomorrow on the topic that we're going to look at today, and you forgot something or you're not sure of something, obviously you can go back, you can watch the video again, or part of the video that you need for it, and you can use it. And it's going to stay up all the time, not going to get taken down after a week or anything like that. So it's there for you to access. Okay. Again, after the lesson as well, I'll stay around. So if you've got any questions or anything like that about the work that you're doing, we can answer them. What I mentioned yesterday, just so you know, if you're new, if you putting on the chat, I might ask you to put some answers, things like that. You can put them on. Obviously, if you're watching this video back, you won't be able to access the chat. But if you have a question or you are stuck with anything, if you put that in the comments, okay, then that's where I'll check for people who are stuck and need a bit more support with work, okay? Because the chat goes through very, very quickly, and I don't want to miss out on anyone. So when we're doing the lesson, I might actually put stuff in the chat, but if you're really stuck with something or it's afterwards and you need help, put it in the comments for me, okay? And myself or another teacher will get back to you. And obviously afterwards, if you are stuck or anything like that, you can get in contact on the Padlet, which is down below, the comment section. There's my socials up there, so my Facebook, my Twitter, and my Instagram, all Mr. Biggins123. And obviously comments on the live lesson. There's loads of ways you can get in contact with me, ask me for some help. I'm more than happy to give you any help that you need. Okay? If you don't understand anything or you're stuck on a certain thing, which is more likely with maths, you might understand one thing and not the other thing. Don't worry about it, okay? Don't be thinking about it over again and trying to get that one and miss out on the next piece of the lesson. Just leave it, okay? Pause it and watch it again, okay? If you're watching it live, just leave it. Do other things, then come back to it after the lesson. Watch the video again, watch that part that you didn't understand, and then if you still don't understand it, you can send me a message, send me a comment, and I'll help you out with those things. Okay, so what we're going to start off with is Fluent in 5. If you're from St. Bennet, you will know what this is, okay? I'm going to give you some questions, and you're going to have 5 minutes to see how many you can get right, okay? So it's not 5 questions, it's 5 minutes. So I think there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 questions, okay? Some of them will be quicker than others. I'm going to get a timer up, and you will have 5 minutes, and then we'll go through all of the answers together, okay? So I'm just getting a timer up. Oh, a 5-minute timer. And then what I'll do is, as soon as I've wrote the first question up, I will start the timer. Okay. Let's go. 5 minutes. Right, okay, so I'm going to put the first question up. As soon as I finish the first question, I'm going to try and hide it. Okay. Soon as I've started that timer, wrote that first question, I'll start the timer. You're going to have 5 minutes, okay? So you need to work quickly, but what we say efficiently, okay? So make sure you're double checking as you're going on. If there's any that you don't understand, I can't remember how to do that because it's been a long time since you've done them in maths lessons, or you've not done them in your school or your lesson or anything like that, leave it, and then after the lesson, I want to go through the answers now. I will be able to show you how to do them, okay? So we'll work through the answers together. So the first one. So your first one is going to be a column addition. So that's number 1. So you can start now, and I'm going to start the timer, and I'll write the rest of your questions on as you are going. Two, 7, 1, 6,524 take away 4,271. 241 times 5. 415 times 23. 5,425 divided by 100. And 48.553 times 100. Okay, you've got just under 4 minutes left. See how you can get on. Right, you've got 3 minutes left. These last two, you divide them by 100, you times them by 100. Okay, think of what's the best method to do that, rather than doing a column multiplication or log division, and do it quickly. Had about half your time there. Okay, you've got just over a minute left, okay? If you have, make it a little clearer. If you have finished them, be double checking them, okay? If you double check them, triple check them. Remember, you always need to be having a look, okay? And going back over, when I say double check them, check each calculation. Make sure you haven't made one small mistake that is going to give you the wrong answer, okay? Hate it when I see people do all the hard work and then they make one little silly mistake and that affects it. And you've got 30 seconds left now. And that is your time there now. So wherever you are, put your pens down, stop, don't worry. We're doing Fluent in 5 on most maths lessons. It's easy to do yourself as well, to make 5-6 questions with different operations and give yourself that time to practice to get quicker, okay? So just stop now, and then what you can do is, rather than worrying about getting all the right answers, we can see what the right answers are. You can worry about is having to go yourself, having to go to the ones that we do, and getting better next time. That's the most important thing, is trying to improve yourself. It doesn't matter how many you get or against other people or anything like that. It's how much better you get each time that you try. Okay, so we're going to work our way through them. Okay, I try to start off nice and easy for you today. Okay, I didn't give you any too hard things to do. Okay, just some simple addition, 4 operations. It's been a while since we've been in school. So for our column addition, okay, we'd add them up. So 6 plus 1 is 7, 9 plus 3 is 12, carry our 1 over there. 8 plus 1 is 9, plus my other 1 is 10. I'm going to cross that out so I don't get mixed up, use it again with anything. What I'm going to do here, I'll do the 5 plus 9 first. I know 9 plus 1 is 10, so I'll do 10 plus 5, which is 15. Cross that out because I've used it. Now I've got 6 plus 1 is 7, plus my other 1 is 8. So your first answer is 85027. Okay. Let's move on to the second one. I've still got space, we'll do it there. Put your answer, what you think for the second one, in the chat, and then I will start doing it. So we've got a simple subtraction. 6524, and we're going to take away 4,271. Okay, hope none of you fell in the trap of going quickly and doing the wrong thing, doing another addition. Okay, so we've got 4 take away 1, which is 3. And you've got 2 take away 7. We can't do take away 7 because 7 is bigger than 2. So we're going to transfer, take a 100 from there and put it there. So we've got 12. Okay, so now we've got 12 take away 7, which gives us 5. Then we've got 4 take away 2, which we can do. Okay, make sure when you've done that, you don't take away the 2 from the 5, it's from the 4. And we have 6 take away 4. So you should have got 2253 for that one. Brilliant, well done if you did. If you didn't, have a look where you made the mistake. Don't make that mistake next time. Okay, question 3. We're going to move on to multiplication. Still got room, I'll rub them out after this. Okay, we've got 241 times 5. Okay, so multiplication, not long multiplication because we've only got a 1-digit number here. Remember, we have to have at least 2 digits in each number for it to be long, so it's just 1. So I just work along, so I just need to know my times tables. 1 times 5, nice easy one for me. 5 times 4. 5 times 4 is 20. And 5 times 2 plus my 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus my 2 is 12. So you should have got 1,205. Multiplications for me, I always use strategies to get them. as quick as I can. Okay, so luckily that's a 5, and 5 times table is one of my strongest one. Okay, I did maths when I was in secondary school and everything like that, but I still found my times tables hard. I know lots of people do find the times tables hard, and because you just got to memorize them. It's nothing to do with maths, really, is it? Okay, but it is. Okay, there's ways you can go around it. So if you find your 5 times tables hard, you've got to think, what tables do I know really strong? You might know your 10 times tables, so well, I know 10 times 4, and then you can half that answer. Okay, or if you're trying to find 9 times something, you can find what 10 times is and take away 1. So don't think, oh, I don't know that sum. Use your maths to find around it quickly. Don't be starting from 1 and working your way up. Okay, we'll probably see that more when we do more difficult sums. Okay, so 1,000, there's 3 answers. Put your answer in the chat for question 4, our long multiplication. I'm going to rub these 2 out because I need a little bit more space for this one. So we know it's long multiplication because both numbers have at least 2 digits. So we've got 415 and we've got 23. Okay. So, multiplication, if you haven't done it, if you forgot about it, I'm going to go through this one a little bit slow, okay? So firstly, I'm times by 23. I'm going to do the same really as I did down here, times by 5, that number. I've got that number there, haven't I? So that's the number that I'm multiplying by first. And I'm going to work my way along. So I'm going to do 3 times 5, which is 15. My 1 up there. Then I'm going to do 3 times 1, which is 3, but I've got my 1 there, so that'll take it to 4. Cross that out so I don't use it again, don't want to get mixed up with it. And now 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Don't have to put it up there because there's nothing else to multiply, so I can just put it straight there. So I've got 1,245. That's not my full answer though, is it? Because I haven't times by my 20 yet. Now what you always need to remember, I hope no one forgot this, is we need to put a 0 there. Because what we're going to do is we're going to times these numbers by 2, but that number isn't actually 2, is it? It's 20. So it's 10 times bigger than 2. So to make a number 10 times bigger, I put a 0 on the end of it, okay, if it's a whole number. So now I'm going to do 2 times 5, which is 10. I'm going to do 2 times 1, which is 2, plus my 1, which is 3. I'm going to cross that out, don't want to get mixed up with it and use it again. And then we've got 2 times 4 is 8, and then we'll put a line on there because now what we're going to do is we're going to add them together. So basically what we're doing is we're adding 3 times 415 and 20 times 415, add them together and we'll know what 23 times 415 is. So 5 add 0, nice and easy for us. 4 add 0, nice and easy. 2 add 3, nice and easy. And 1 add 8, nice and easy at the end there. Okay, 9545. Okay, I'm having a glance over there. I do have the answers. Okay, so I know that that one's right. Just double checking my working out there. Okay, even when I've taught maths for a long time now, I still double check my answers because there's still times that you can make mistakes. So if I'm checking my double check my answers, you definitely should be. Okay, question 5. We had times in by dividing by 100. Okay, this should have been one of the quicker ones for you. And if it wasn't, I'm going to show you how it can be a lot quicker. Put your answer in the chat. Okay, and we're dividing by 100. Now, if we've got lots of zeros on the end, you might have been taught when you were younger to take zeros off, but that's not actually what we're doing, is it? When we're dividing by 100, remember we're dividing, we're making the number smaller. Now, here's my number that I'm starting off with, 5425. And if I've got a whole number like that, I know that my decimal point is there. Don't draw it, I don't have to every number, we don't put a full stop like it's a sentence, we don't put our decimal point in, we only put it in if we have something after the decimal normally, okay? But to work this out quickly, I'm going to put my decimal in there. So I've got my decimal in, and because I'm dividing by 100, that means I am moving my decimal place 2 places up, okay? So I'm going to move it 1, 2, and I'm going to put it there. So my answer is now 54.25, okay? I'm going to do the other one and I'm going to talk a little bit about how little tactics to use them. So for question 6, we had a similar question, but instead of multiplying, sorry, instead of dividing, we were multiplying. So now we had 48.553 and we're timesing by 100, not dividing. When we times by 100, we're going to move the decimal place 2 places to the right. So my answer is 4,855.3. Okay, so little things. When you're doing these, okay, if you forget which way do I need to move the decimal point, okay, remember if you're dividing, your number's going to get smaller. So is 54.25 smaller than 5,425? Yeah, it is. If you'd moved it the other way and put zeros on, your number would have got bigger, so you'd have known it was wrong. Same with this one, okay? We moved it 2 places that way. If you'd accidentally moved it this way, you could look at your answer when you double check it and say 0.48553. Is that bigger than that number? No, it's not, so you must have took it the wrong way. The reason we're moving the decimal is to make the number either move the digits in the number up 1 place in place value or down. Okay, so it's up to you what you want to do. Okay, you can move the decimal like I said there, or what you can do, if I write this number again, so 5425 is the number I started off with, and I know I've got my ones, my tens, my hundreds and my thousands. Okay, oh, I've just put my finger through there. What I'm actually doing is I'm moving them 2 places down. So I'm moving my 5 from the thousands 1, 2 places down to there, and I'm moving my 4 down 1, 2 places to there. Put my point in, and I'm moving those down to my tenths and my hundredths. Okay, so that's what I'm actually doing. So you can remember I'm moving all the digits up, or you can remember to move the decimal point, whichever's easy for you. And the last little thing is to know how many places you're moving it, and that is the zeros. Okay, there are 2 zeros in 100, so you're moving it 2 places. If you were times by 10, there is 1 0, so you move it 1 place. And if you times it by 1,000, 3 places, and you can go on and on and on. That tells you how many. Okay, hope you did well. If you didn't do amazingly, that doesn't matter. It's about getting better next time. So hopefully you'll get better next time. Have a look at your mistakes. Think, what did I go wrong there? I'm not going to go wrong next time. Okay. Most of you will know from my classes. If you are in my classes, Mr. Biggins makes quite a few mistakes. Don't get upset about them. Just got to learn from them. Okay. So you made a couple of mistakes. It's up to you. Okay. To think, right, that's what I need to get better at. I'm going to get better at. Right, so I'm going to close my timer down. Okay, so today's lesson, what we're going to look at is we're going to look at angles, and we're going to look at how to find angles, missing angles, okay, without using a protractor, okay, one of those half semicircles, in order to find what the angle is. Might not make too much sense, but as we go on, you will see what it is that we are talking about. So, before we get really started though, we're just going to have a quick recap of the different types of angles that we have. So, we measure angles in what we call degrees, okay, and a degree basically tells us how far something has turned, okay. So, if we have a line there, okay, if we moved it and put another line there, the degree is going to tell us how much it's turned. So there's certain things that we are going to learn today, and these things are important for us to use later on, so be listening carefully now. So we have a point there, and imagine we've turned all the way around, so a full turn, okay? Full turn all the way around. So you know how many degrees that is. If you do, pop it into the chat, okay? How many degrees do we go to do a full turn all the way around? Let's see if anyone can get it quite quickly. Straight away, got some great answers there. Well done, Billy. Well done, Joseph, Emily, Joshua, Isabel, Iris. Well, Iris is just saying hi there, listening. I didn't put an answer on. I'm just saying well done. Yeah, you're all getting the right answer, okay? So you've been paying attention. It is 360 degrees, okay? So a full turn is 360 degrees. That's important. We're going to use that later. So if you didn't know that, or you haven't been taught that, okay, in your head, just go full turn 360, full turn 360, keep saying over and over till it sticks, okay? So, if I had a line that was going around then, okay, and I had another line at the bottom here, okay, so it looks like one line, okay, we could do the angle at the bottom there. So now we've got there, it's a little bit off I think, because obviously I haven't got a protractor in the draw, but imagine that's a straight line down, okay? So if we've got a straight line, that angle is 180 degrees, okay? Because it is half of 360. So if you think about a full turn 360, half of that is 180, okay? So if you do forget one of those, as long as you know one of them, you can work the other one out, okay? So if you know a full turn 360, and a straight line, a half of a turn must be 180, you can half 360. And vice versa. If you can remember that 180 is a straight line, you can go, oh, well, a full turn must be double that, so double 180, and you would get 360. So we need to know our full turn and our straight line. And once we know that, we now need to learn the different names for some angles. A lot of you will know this, will have learned this, so this is just going to be a quick little recap of angles. So, first angle we are going to look at, okay, is a certain angle which is handy because it is always the same. Certain angles have lots of different types of them, okay, but this angle is the same, and it is an angle that looks like that, okay. These are really important that you're going to see later on in the lesson. So this is what we call a right angle, okay? And we know it with a square. You noticed earlier on I was putting the curves for the angles. And when you do all of the angles, you'll always put curves. But for a right angle, you always put a square. So I now don't have to write 90 degrees, which is how much that angle is, okay? Because as soon as I say it's a square, I know it's a right angle, I know it's 90 degrees. It never changes. It's never 91, it's never 89, okay? It's always that. So this is a really handy angle for us to have. And it's obviously, like you say, it's the corner of like sort of a book or a piece of paper or something like that. Easy way to spot it. And it's 90 degrees, okay? If any of you probably already know. Straight line is 180. This is half of that, isn't it? Okay, because this is a quarter of a turn, not a full turn. This is a quarter of a turn. So we've got, I'm going to write them up here. We had a full turn, which was 360. We had a straight line, which was 180 degrees. We had this one here, which is a right angle, and that is 90 degrees. Those angles never change, okay? Those angles don't change. A right angle is always 90, a straight line is always 180, and a full turn is 360. But the angles that we're going to look at now are more of a sort of category. There's lots of different types of angles in them. So the first angle we're going to look at is, let's draw it, okay? So line doesn't always have to be going straight up, so I'm just going to draw it here. Actually, we'll draw it straight up just so, because it's the first one, so we can spot. It's an angle like this, okay? In the chat, do you know what we call that angle? Okay, it's quite a small angle in the scheme of a full turn. Can you tell me what you think that angle is? Brilliant, before I pick it up, loads of answers in there. Yeah, it is. That is a acute angle. Okay, so we spell that here. I'll put it over here. Acute angle. Okay, so that's an acute angle. Now, an acute angle is the smallest of the angles that we look at. An acute angle is less than 90 degrees. Okay, make sure that you remember that less than 90. Okay, because what a lot of people say when I say what is an acute angle, they say 90 degrees or less, which is wrong because 90 degrees is a right angle, isn't it? It's not an acute angle, so it's less than 90 degrees. So it's from 0 all the way up to 89 or 89.99999, whatever, if you wanted to go on. Okay, anything less. Okay, so without my rule, I'm just going to draw some so we'll see them. Okay, you can even get some that are quite close to being a right angle. So if I went there, I'm going up just a little. It's a close. Now, it's good to know what an acute angle is, but what's even better is if we can estimate how big an acute angle is by just looking at it, okay? And that's a really simple thing to do, okay? Because when you get asked a question about estimation, you're given a sort of an educated guess, your best guess that you're going to go at, but you're using what you know for your answer to be right. So if you're estimating, we don't expect your answer to be bang on and perfect. It can be a few degrees either side. So if I do an angle like this, just for speed, I'm just not going to use the ruler for now. If I drew an angle like that, okay, I know that this is 0 degrees and that's not far out. So I might have an estimation that that's about 10 degrees, okay? Again, as well, that angle that I drew earlier on. So if I do that one, I can see that's quite close to 90, isn't it? So that might be an 80 degrees angle. So if they're close to our right angle or our 0, then we can have an educated guess there. What we can also do as well is we know that this is a right angle. Okay, that's 90 degrees. We know that this is 90 degrees. So I'm going to use my head and I'm going to say, well, if that's 90 degrees, if I half that, so if I went halfway up there, that would be 45 degrees, wouldn't it? So if I've got 90 degrees, if I had an angle that was like that, okay, if I had an angle that was, I can have a guess that that angle is around 45 degrees because I know, oh, well, that looks about half of 90. So you can use that again to work it out. So if I had an angle like this, oh, sorry, the lines aren't too straight there. I'll draw one more. If I had an angle like that, okay, and I've got my angle down here, I can use what I know. Well, I know that's 90, and that there is about half, isn't it? Okay, so that will be 45. So this is just a little bit more. So what's just a little bit more? Might be 50, might be 55. I'm going to write about 50 degrees. Okay, and then that's a good estimation of what that degrees is. That's probably not 50 degrees, not perfect, but it's a good estimation. And those are things you're going to have to use. So I'm going to put an angle now up on the board. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's going to be an acute angle, so we know it's going to be less than 90. But what I want you to do is tell me, okay, an estimation of what you think the angle is going to be. Right, so there's my angle there. Okay, in the chat, have an estimation. What do you think that is? Remember, if you're watching this lesson back, okay, you can't have the lesson, an estimation. You can't put anything in the chat, okay? But just in your head, think, right, what was my estimation? And see if you're right. So, I'm going to have a look at what we are looking at, okay? There's some quite close, okay? Yeah. Some looking around 40, some saying 45, some saying 35, 28, very specific there. Some saying 40, 45, 27, 49. So we're all looking around the same, okay? And I'm going to assume you mean 27 there and not 207, okay? So if we have a look, now obviously it's on the board, and it's on a video and it's quite far away, so you can't get close, you can't really do scribblings on it. If I had this question a test, I'd get my pencil and I'd make jottings on there, okay? I'd straight away, I'd go, all right, well, where's my ruler? I'd get my ruler to make sure my lines are straight. I'd say, well, let's have a look. This is 90. And I might not have a protractor, so I might use the corner of my book or something. Well, that's going to be 90. So what's about half of that? So about half of that. That looks about right. If you do have a protractor. So I'd say, does that look about half? No, I couldn't do that again. So I draw my line on, it's not there, I rub it out, and I draw my line again. Okay. And I'd say that's off again. I think the line's putting me there. But I'd say that looks about half. I'm just seeing at the same distance on there. That looks about half. So if I know I know this is 90 degrees. Okay, I'm going to use another pen. I apologise, that one's running out. Pop that one over there. Okay, so I know this one is 90 degrees. Okay, I know this is 45 degrees. So if I'm looking there, I'm going back. Looks maybe about half or so. I would say roughly around. I'd I'd say around 25 to 30 degrees that angle is. So if you're around that, I would say that's a good estimation. Now, one thing I am going to say as well is sometimes we find it harder to estimate angles. I'm always going to draw them with the line up when we're doing some work on the board. But in your test, you might get an angle that looks like that. Okay, so we can see it's a cute angle, but they're harder to estimate what they are because of what they are, because of the way that they're facing. So, simple one for that, turn the paper around, okay? Make one of those lines vertical and just going off the top. It'll be easy to spot. Obviously, you can't do that in the video, so I'll try and put them going up as much as I can. Okay, but turn that around, it always makes it easier to spot the angles. Okay, so that's a way we can sort of estimate what we think angles are. So, that's acute angle, so less than 90 degrees. In the chat, put what you think this type of angle is. What do we call this type of angle? Okay. So we've just had acute, we had full turn, which is 360, we had straight line, which is 180, right angle, which is 90. Our acute angles we've just looked at were less than 90 degrees, okay? This one, what do we call these type of angles? Let's have a look in the chat, see if anyone has got it. Yep, got lots of right answers in there. We call these, a bit of a hard word to spell, obtuse. Okay, so these angles are obtuse angles. Okay, and these ones are more than 90. Okay, and less than 180. Okay, so more than 90 and less than 180. Okay, so I'm just going to put a line between those so it's easy to see them. Okay, so obtuse angle is more than 90, it is less than 180 degrees. Okay, so Miss Carthy is just picking me up on my spelling there, Miss. I spelled it right, Mrs. Carthy. Mrs. Carthy is getting under my spelling and I spelled it right. Okay. So it's an angle that is bigger than 90 degrees and less than 180 degrees. Okay. We're going to have one little estimation. Okay. So if I draw this angle, you've got to use what you know about these angles to have a go. I've got this angle here. Okay. I've got that angle. What do you think that angle is? Pop it down in the chat for me. Just going to say as well, with that one we knew 45 was half, so if I'm going, oh I know half, your half there will be 135, wouldn't it? It's halfway between 90 and 180, okay? So those, you don't have to remember, but they do help you because you can work them out as you go on there, okay? So let's have a look. Okay, lots of it close there. Now, if I look at this angle, it's quite close. I know down here is 180. So I would say that this angle here, I would estimate that's between probably 165 to 170. Okay, probably that angle. So if you had 172, 173, you would probably get it as well. Okay, so I know that because I know 180 is down here and it's a little bit less than that. So I'd say it's probably closer around the 170 mark there. And we're using what we know from angles to have a guess with that one, have an estimation, sorry, not a guess. Next angle we're going to look at is what we call, I'm going to put them over here, okay, is what we call a reflex angle, okay. What we're going to do is what we call a reflex angle, okay, so this angle, I'm just going to go through these last ones a little bit quicker, is an angle that is bigger than 180 degrees. Okay, so I'll give you an example there. There you might say, oh, well, that looks like an acute, but we're talking about the angle on the outside. Okay, so I could have this angle here. All right, could have that angle there. Could have that angle there as well. Okay, so any angle that is bigger than 180, okay, is what we call a reflex angle. Those are the different angles that you need to know. Okay, so although those are the three angles, what might also be a good thing to remember to help you estimate, okay, if we had that reflex angle, okay, we can see it's the opposite of we've got a right angle in there, haven't we? Okay, so it's a 1, 2, 3/4 turn. That is 270 degrees. That can help you with estimation. Okay, you don't have to know that. You might be asked what a 3/4 turn is, and you can just times your 90 by 3, because 90 is a quarter of a turn. But 270 degrees is a 3/4 turn. That's not something that you need to know as much as reflex, or obtuse, acute, right angle, straight angle, and a full turn. They're not as much as you need to know, but it does help you when you're trying to do estimation. Okay, so we have looked at different angles there now, and I'm going to talk about how we're going to use those and how we're going to know how we're going to find angles that are missing from what we know without using a protractor. So the first angle that we're going to look at is looking at angles around a point. Okay, I'm going to rub those off. If you need to get them again or anything like that, obviously you can, after the video, you can run it back and you can just pause it, you can write them down or for anything you wanted to. So we're going to look at angles around a point. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So if we have an angle here, okay, we know that this angle is, let's say, 60 degrees. So we have a 60 degrees angle there. Now a question might ask you, what is the missing angle? Or I might put a letter. I put an E there, I put an X in there, okay? There's lots of different ways they can do it. There's lots of different letters, but it just means the same, exactly the same thing. Let's put A there, okay? It might say, what is angle A? Now you haven't got a protractor, so you can't measure it, and sometimes, a lot of times the test says not drawn to scale, so even if you had a protractor, you wouldn't be able to work it out. Anyway, so there's two ways that I can work it out, but what I'm going to do is what I know about angles in a point. Angles around a point equal 360 degrees. So if I know this is 60, I know to go to all my way around, it will be 360. So what I could say is, if my whole is 360 all the way around, okay, well, I'm going to take that 60 off there. How many have I got left? Well, I must have 300. So no, 300 add 60 will be 360. Okay, so you could take away 60 from 300 for 360, sorry, and you get your answer. So I now know that angle is 300 degrees, and I can see it's a reflex angle, so I know it's bigger than 180 degrees. So that looks about right, and if I estimate it, yeah, that looks about right. Okay. The other way you could do it is the other way around. I know that 360. Okay, so I've got 60 there, and I'm trying to get to 360. So what do I have to add on? So you could count up. I could say, well, I need 40 to get to 100. Then you need another 200, 240, and then add your 60 on. You get 300. It's whichever way is quicker for you. Okay, there is no wrong way to do it if you get the right answer. So you say, right, 60. How many do I need more to get to 360? 300. So that's sort of subtracting it to get it, and that's adding it to get it. So either way that you want to do it, you can do that to find the angle out. So, a couple of questions for you. If I have got, I want you to find a missing angle and put it in the chat. Obviously, if you're still working, don't look at the chat until you work out an answer. So if I've got an angle here, let's go about there, and that's say 200 degrees. Okay, so if I've got 200 degrees there, I want you to find out what this angle is. We'll call this one B, it's our second one. I'm going to make this 200 a little bit bigger because I know that might be a bit small on the screen for you. So we've got this angle here, which is 200 degrees. Can you find B for me? Okay. If you're still working it out, don't have a look at the chat till you've had a work out of it. Can we work it out? We know the full point is 360. So if this is 200, what must this missing one be? And if you're struggling, you're not sure, just wait. Let's say the answer, maybe you can have a go at the next one. Loads of right answers in there. I haven't seen one wrong answer yet. Well done, Isabel. Well done, Ray. Well done, Billy. Well done, Chris, Jasmine, Milo. Well done, Evie. Ollie, Drew. Really, really good answers there. Okay. So all seem to be getting that. So I've got 200. Okay. So I can either take 200 away from 360, or I can say how many do I need to add on to get 360. And if you work that out, 200, I need another 100 to get to 300, then 60. So 160 would be my answer. Well done, a lot of you got that one. Let's make another one. This one a little bit more difficult. Okay, let's say we've got, let's just say these are the easy ones on your worksheet. They're a little bit harder. Okay, so let's just say you've got that one. You've got this one, 99 degrees, and we are going to try and find this missing angle here. Okay, let's call it, I'm going to call it X. The reason I keep changing these letters is in the test you might see different letters, and I want you just to be used to that. So what does X equal? Got 99 there, got 99 problems. Great joke. But what's X? Okay, what is X? Put it in the chat, so you don't look at the chat again unless you've got it. If you're watching this video back, not live, you can obviously pause it if you want a little bit more time before we go through the answer. Remember, your full turn is 360. Okay, so I've got 360. I've already got 99 degrees of that. How much have I got left? Or how much do I have to add on to get to 360? Okay, some really good answers there. Let's have a look. Got 99. I'm going to see how many. I'm going to work my way back down from 360 this time. What I'm going to do, rather than take away 99, that seems like hard for me. This is really close to 100, isn't it? So 360, take away 100 is 260. But I was only wanting to take 99 away, wasn't I? So I'm going to put one onto there. So my answer will be 261. So what I did is I took away 100 from 360. I got 260. But I took away one more than I needed to because 100 is one more. So I put that back onto my answer. And I got 261 degrees. Well done if you've got that one. And the last one, I'm going to wrap up the difficulty a lot. See if you've been listening. You've been on for a while now, so you must be awake. So, let me make sure. Oh, so we've got two angles now. And we've got an angle with, this one hasn't got how many degrees it is. Can you work out what C is for me? Can you work out what C is? So remember, around a point, how many degrees is it around a point? Then you need to know what the other angles are to find that out. Okay, so your angles around a point, 360. So I know I've got 173 of it there. How many have I got there? Remember, look, that's a square, that's not a curve. So what does that mean? Some right answers, some close answers. Let's remember, square, so what's that make? It makes it a right angle. So this is 90 degrees there now, isn't it? So I've got 90 degrees. So now we're going to work it out, okay? You could use a bar model if you wanted to. I've got 90 there, got 173. I'm trying to find C, and I know that all of that together, that is the wonkiest one I've ever drawn, is 360. So I'm working out what my missing one is. Okay, so I could add these two together. So if I add these two together, 173 add 90 would get me to 263. And then how many do I need to add on? Okay, to get to 360, or I could take this away from 360, and your answer you would get would be 97 degrees. Loads of right answers with that in the chat. Okay, well done if you got that one. Now, and the angles that are very similar to find than around a point is on a straight line. Okay, so if I've got a straight line, I'm going to draw it horizontally now rather than vertically. So if I'm going to draw my horizontal line here, I'm going to have a look at the end there. Put a dot there, that's an angle. Angle on a straight line, I know is 180 degrees, isn't it? Angle on a straight line. So if I had an angle on this straight line, okay, so I've got this angle here. Let's say this is, I know it's a little bit off, but in your papers they will tend to be off. And I've got that 45, and then it might say, what's this missing angle here? What is, I'm going to call that Y, okay? So I thought Y there, okay? Well, I know this is 45. I know my straight line, so my half turn all the way around is 180. So if I take away my 45 from my 180, I find out what Y is. Yeah? So I've got 180, and I'm going to break it down. I'm going to take away 40, then I'm going to take away 5. So 180, take away 40, you could count your tens. 140, then take away your 5, and you'd end up with 135 degrees. Okay? When you're taking away numbers like that, 45, 46, 33, I think that, I'll always take away my tens and my units. Easy way to do it in my head, okay, rather than writing it down. I could write it as a column if I wanted to, but it would take more time, wouldn't it? So that would be 135 degrees. You can see what we're doing. We're using exactly the same as what we did for around a point to find these missing angles without working them out. Can we have a go then? Shall I be mean? No. Okay. So I draw my straight line. Okay. Draw my straight line, and I'm gonna have, let's say, 27 degrees there. Okay, I'm going to make that bigger. So I've got 27 degrees. Can you work out what my missing angle is? Okay, let's say that is Z. Okay, what is Z there then? Okay, we've got 27 degrees there. What is Z? Remember, the straight line's 180. So, got some people getting it right. Some people are about 10 out or so. Double check your answer. Are you right? I'm not going to say which is the right answer, okay? Double check. Some of you, I think, will have wrote that answer straight down to be first. Always be right rather than first, okay? So I've got 153 and I've got 163. If you've got one of those answers, one of them is right. Can you work it out? Do your addition again. The answers seem to be changing there now. Yeah, lots of people changing the right answer there now. It's 153. Okay. If you're 163, well done. You know what you were doing, but you just made a little mistake in your calculation. So that's why I always say double check. Okay, so 153, because 3 would take us to 30. Okay, Then 50 would take us to 80. Then 100 would take us to 180, or you could say it's like 3. So there's 30. So I'm at 30, so I've got 3 there. And how many do I need to get to 100? I need 70, so I've got 70 there. Then I need to get to 80. And I've got those 3 numbers, you can add them together, or you can add them in your head. Okay, well done if you got that one. Yeah, one more I'm going to do on this one. And this one I'm really going to test you. Okay, so I'm going to draw my straight line, which we know is 180 degrees. We all know that now. And we're going to have a really small angle. I'm just going to do them freehand. Remember, is with the ruler. The only reason I'm not drawing them with a ruler is because they would rub out. Okay, when I put the ruler on top of it, so you can see that's what be. Let me off. Okay, so it's 3 degrees. Let's say we've got a 40 degrees. Okay, 3 degrees. Remember the little, that is our little degree symbol, not a 0. So you've got 3 degrees, 40 degrees, and I'm going to be over here for 18 degrees. So this one is a little bit more of a thinker. Can you tell me what angle, is it capital A this time? What angle A is? Okay, that one might take you a little bit longer to work out. So we've got 3 numbers there. What you've got to think in your head as well, there's 2 angles here, there's 1 angle on that side. Does that change anything? Does it change how many degrees are in a straight line? No, still a straight line, so it's still 180 degrees, isn't it? So it doesn't matter where my angle is, okay, it's still going to be the same thing to work it out. Okay, let's see who gets this one now. I've got more numbers here, you've got 3, okay, and then you're going to have to take them away from 180. So this is definitely a double check your answer 1. See, it's harder. As soon as I pick up the chat, loads of right answers there. Well done, Christian. Well done, Evie. Well done, Seb. Well done, Lucy. Well done. Well done, Mint. Well done, Shikari. Well done, Anna. Well done, Christy. Sorry if I'm saying the wrong names. Obviously, some of you have different usernames on there. Loads of right answers there, so we're definitely understanding this. So our missing angle, I'm not going to go through the working out as much now, just for time, we're just going to go on, is 119 degrees. We add 40, 18 and 3 together, and then we take it away from 180 to get our angle. We can see as well, if we think about our angles, 119 is an obtuse angle. Does that look like an obtuse angle, bigger than 90? Yeah, it does, okay? So we know that our estimation, our answer that we've worked out with an estimation, we can say, yeah, that looks like it could be right. If it was a tiny angle like that and we had 119, we'd be thinking, I might have done something wrong here. Okay, now, those angles around a point and a line, I think you might have looked at before. But I'm going to show you some different angles there now. So I'm going to show you what happens when 2 lines intersect. Okay, so this is what I mean. So this is 2 lines intersecting. Intersect is a posh word for crossing over. Okay, straight lines. Okay, they're not bending or anything like that. They're not curved. But when 2 lines intersect, okay, something really helpful happens for us trying to find out angles. The angles that are opposite each other, the angles that are on the other side, are the same. So we can use that to find what different angles are. So if we've got, so these angles are opposite each other, they are the same, they'll always be the same if 2 lines intersect each other. And that's really helpful for us to find out angles. So if we had another one, and again, I'm just going to do it freehand for time. If we have this angle here, and what are we going to do them as? So if I've got an angle there at 60 degrees, and I've got an angle here That's 120 degrees. This should be straight away in the chat. You should be guessing this straight away. We're going to have angle A and angle B. We don't even have to work anything out. Can you tell me what A and B are? Simple. We should be getting it straight away like that. And I'm sure you'll be well with me in the chat. Yeah, answers straight away. Brilliant. Yeah. Couple of answers just off a little bit there. Remember, the opposite, they're exactly the same. So this one, B, is opposite 120. So that one's going to be 120. Don't have to work anything out. It's the opposite, it's the same. This one, A is opposite. So it's 60 degrees, okay? It's exactly the same. So we don't have to work anything out. And one other little thing we can use when we have lines that cross over to find them is the fact that we know that they go around a point, don't they? Okay, so if I add all these together, 60 and 60, 120, 120, it comes to 360 degrees, because we know the angles around the full point, all the way around would be 360. 100 and 100 is 200. 8 and 8 is 160, so add them together, 360. So the angles that are opposite are the same, okay? And the angles all together, because they're around a point, will equal 360. So we're going to have a look now, okay, at you having to go at one of these. Okay, so if we've got two lines that so we'll make these quite wide, okay, we've got 170 degrees. Okay, I want you firstly to find A. Okay, so pop it in the chat. Okay, what is that? That should be the easy part of it. Okay, what is A? Okay, two lines are crossing over, so I've got 170. So what's the opposite angle? Answers starting to come in there. Everyone I've seen so far is right. Starting to understand these opposite angles are the same. Brilliant. So yeah, from all the ones in the chat, you're telling me it's 170. Yeah, I don't need to work it out. I don't need to do addition, subtraction. It's the opposite. It's the same. So this is the bit that's a little bit harder. Okay, we know that's 170. And if it gave us one of these angles, that would be easy to find out. But what happens if it just says B? Okay, we haven't got the opposite angle. So what are we going to do? Okay, can you work out what B is? Okay, if you can work it out now, brilliant, do it. Pop it in the chat. If you're not sure, a couple of seconds, I'm going to start describing how we're going to work it out. As soon as it clicks and you know what you're doing, okay, you start and go ahead, see if you can do it. So I've got A and I've got 170. So I know these angles equal 360. That's important. I need that to find the angle. Brilliant. Seems the right answer straight away. Got some brain boxes in the chat today. So 360 degrees, okay, all around the point. I've got two angles, haven't I? Okay, I've got 170 and 170. So if I add them together, I'm going to get 340, okay. 17 add 17 is 34, and I'll put my O on, my 0 on, sorry. That's how I got, so 340. So my angles all the way around are 360, and these two here equal 340. So how many degrees have I got left for the full turn? Well, I've got 20, okay. Don't need to do column subtraction for that. I just in my head, 40, 50, 60, I've got 20, okay. But I've got two angles, haven't I? So it's not 20 degrees, two angles, but what do I know about those angles? Those angles are the same. So I could put B there, couldn't I? Because they're going to be exactly the same. So if I've got two angles that are the same and they equal 20, what must it be? We'll divide it by 2. What goes into 20 twice? 10 degrees, so they're both 10 degrees. I saw some people putting the answer in the chat there before I'd even really wrote the answer, the question on the board. I'm really impressed with how quickly you're getting that. If you didn't understand that, okay, we've got one more little thing that we're going to look at. You can come back in the video afterwards and have a look at that again, see how I worked that out. Obviously, there'll be some questions as well on the work that you can do and help you out. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to look at, I know the lesson's been a little bit longer today, okay, not going to apologise for that, you haven't had maths for a long time, okay, just getting used to how long the lessons are going to be, because obviously I've never taught like this before. So we're looking at one little thing, we're going to look at triangles, so I might go through it a little bit quickly, but remember you can watch the video again. So we're going to look at the angles inside a triangle, okay? I'm going to leave this up because this is going to be important. So if I have a triangle, okay, all of the angles on the inside, so say if I had A and I had B and I had C, A plus B plus C equals 180. The angles inside a triangle always add up to 180 degrees, okay? And we can again use that to find out what missing angles are. So, just so you know, next week we're going to look a little bit more at triangles. So don't worry if you don't know about different types of triangles and that's what you're thinking about. We're going to have maybe a little look at those and some other things next week. So say if I had a triangle here, let's see. Okay, let's say I've got this angle here, which is 45 degrees. Let's say I've got this angle here, which is 55 degrees, and I need to find out what C is, okay? In my head, I know that these angles all together are going to be 180 degrees. So I'm going to add these two together. So add my 5 on there is 60. 60 add 40 is 100. So these two angles equal 100. So I've got 100 here and that add up to 180. The missing angle must be 80 degrees. Now I've not looked at the chat, but I'm sure loads of people probably put that in the chat before I even said it. So C will be 80 degrees, and we've worked that out because we know that triangles, the angles all together equal 180. Okay, so I'm going to give you one to have a go at. Okay, I'm going to go back to something, see if we've remembered it. For this one, you're going to have to remember what this is. Let's go with T. What is angle T? So, remember, I used a whiteboard for a while, sorry I keep rubbing out half the stuff I'm writing on. Remember, we need to know how much they add up to. We need to know what this means, okay? Add these together, so we know how much angle's taken up with this 180, then take it away to find the missing angle. Brilliant, well done. Loads of people there coming up with the right answer. Some people, again, are 10 out. Okay, there's answers of 50, there's answers of 60. If you've got all those answers, double check your answer now. Did you get the right one, or you're the one that you made a little mistake and you're 10 out? Okay, double check that answer. We need to remember that this one is a right angle, isn't it? Because we've got that square rather than the circle. So that's 90 degrees. Okay, so we've got 90 degrees. And we've got 40 degrees. If I put them together, 90 add 40, one just can count on, 100, 110, 120, 130. So those angles equal 130, and I know all of them together equal 180. So how many more do I need? 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 5 tens. So I need 50 degrees. Well done with that. Okay. So with the triangles, I was going to do a couple more examples, but the lesson has went on a little bit longer than I was expecting it to. So I'm going to leave that one there. have a look at again at after the stream if you need to, okay, to get that. What I'm going to do, okay, is, sorry, I'm just getting a message from over there. That's why I'm not going mad. Okay, what I'm going to do is tell you one last little thing about triangles before I go. Okay, we'll look at triangles a little bit more next lesson, but there are triangles called equilateral triangles. And equilateral triangles, I think that's a really good one. Sorry, I'm impressed with my triangle. That's really good freehand. Okay, equilateral triangle, all the sides are the same. Because all the sides are the same, all of these angles are the same as well. Okay, so I need to know what goes into 180 3 times. Well, I know my times table. I know what goes into 18 3 times. I know it's 6, and I put my 0 on. So if you ever see an equilateral triangle, or it says what is the angles in this, and you think I don't know, it hasn't given me any, okay, it's always going to be 60 degrees because the angles are always the same. So if you have an equilateral triangle, we're going to have all 3 angles the same. And your last little thing, you will normally see these lines on there that'll tell you those sides are the same, is we have what's called an isosceles triangle. This is just something to remember slightly. We're going to go over it more next lesson, but it might help you out when you're working things out. This has an isosceles triangle, 2 sides the same, which means 2 angles the same. Okay, so if I had this angle here and this angle was 80 degrees, okay, I know it's probably not, looking at the sketch that I've done there, that's 8 degrees. These two are going to be the same. I know it equals 180. So if I've got 80, these two together are 100, so there must be 50 each. Okay, so those are little things that I remember about triangles as well. So, just checking that I went over everything that you need to do the work. Brilliant. So, that's today's lesson. Okay, I went a little bit fast on triangles at the end there. Remember, you can re-watch, so if you do need to go over stuff again, you can contact me. So if you're struggling with any of the work, you can get in contact, and myself or some of the other teachers will help you. So, from this lesson, if you go to the Padlet, which is in the description, and you go on to maths and you go down to day, there will be work there for you that you can do with this. There's also another PowerPoint if you want to go over stuff again if you were going to go over stuff again to sort of get a bit clear in your head before you do the work. There's also work for the rest of the week on angles and looking and finding these missing angles. So if you want, what you can do is, obviously you've got work for each day, so leave it for each day and go to it, do your work, come back to this video and have a look if you need a hand with it or anything like that. If you have done the worksheets, brilliant, you can send us a picture of them or anything like that you want to, so we can have a look, see how you're getting on. If you're struggling with the work, get in contact with us, like I said. Once you've done the work on the worksheet, and I say do the work first, okay, make sure you get that understanding, there is another Kahoot, okay, which is going to be a quiz, an online quiz there, that will get you to work out missing angles to see how you're getting on, okay. Again, the description's down there, so you can just click on the link and go straight into it, or you can go to kahoot.it, and you go this on your tablet, okay, you can go to it on your phone, you can go to it on a computer, and you can put in the PIN number, which is again in the description, okay. I had people asking us what the PIN number was yesterday. It's in the description. Please have a go at the work first before you do that, because that'll make sure that you're understanding everything before you sort of go in and have a go at that quiz. That quiz is not going to just be up to date. That's going to be for a full week before next lesson. So if you want to do the work first and then have a go at that at the end on Friday or Monday or anything like that, that is up there for a week for you to have a go at. Okay, have a go at that. Please, one little thing with the Kahoot, with your name, this is specifically for children who are from my classes. If you're not from my classes, you can put your name on or nickname. I think it's great. If you're from year 5 or 6 in my class, can you put your first name and your initial, okay, when you put your nickname in? It means that we can see how you are doing. If you don't do that, we don't know who's got what score, okay. The Kahoot that you did yesterday, I think there's 36 people done it so far. It's there for a full week, so people might be doing it later on, but some really good scores on there. But there's some scores where I haven't got a name and they're really good and I can't see how well they're doing, or I can't see how well they're doing, okay. What I might do is, with the Kahoot from yesterday and today, some really good scores, I might give them some shouts out, okay, on the next lesson, see how well that you did. So have a go at that. Once you've had a go, it'll be really, really good. Let's see how well you can do. I'm not going to stay around for long afterwards because the videos went over for quite a little bit, so the battery on my phone might be going. Okay, so I will be here a little bit. If you've got any questions, I'll check the chat. But obviously afterwards, put a comment if you need any help. Not in the chat for us, please. Remember, comments are going to be easy for us. If you need any help and you don't want to use the comment section on YouTube, or you don't have a login or anything like that, you can use, again, my Twitter, my Facebook, my Instagram, Mr. Biggins123, or you can use the Padlet. There's a comment section on there. You can ask us questions. People did yesterday, and we managed to help them, so we can help you out as well. One last little thing. If you can, if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to the channel, because it means you'll be told when the lessons are starting, so you won't miss them, and it'll keep you up to date with that. And if you have enjoyed today's lesson, if you give it a like, that'll really help. Okay, really help it be available for other people to see it. Okay, the more likes it'll get, the more other people see it, the more other people we can help out with these lessons. Okay, so if you can give it a like, that would be really, really appreciated. I'm going to be around for a little bit longer. Okay, I'll let you know just before I'm going. Hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Have a go at the worksheets. See you later. Right guys, we'll go there. Doesn't seem any comments or anything at the minute, so no initial misunderstandings or anything like that with the work. Obviously, if when you get into the worksheets, like I've said before, just get in contact and we'll be able to give you a hand if you need it. Phone's about to die. So just going to say bye. Thanks for coming to the stream today. If you're watching it back again, hope it's been helpful as well. Padlet should still be up there, so you should still be able to access the work. Apart from that, hopefully see you tomorrow. We'll be doing some science work in the morning. Okay, see you later.